The idea behind this video can be summed up in this observation of how it is that a Kardashian's Instagram post can captivate millions, or a mindless TikTok challenge can sweep across the globe, while a Nobel-winning discovery barely makes a ripple. But the question is why? Why does the shallow spread faster than the deep? Why does foolishness trend while wisdom struggles to survive? This isn't random or an individual problem. It's not a glitch in the system. It is the system. As Nietzsche warned, madness in individuals is rare, but in groups, it is the rule. When people gather in masses, whether in town squares or digital feeds, rationality becomes optional. The crowd thinks with emotion, not intellect. Voltaire saw the same danger centuries earlier when he said, "Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities." He understood that collective delusion begins with entertainment and ends with ideology. What we're witnessing today is the triumph of the viral over the valuable. In this video, I'll explore why this happens, why dumb ideas spread so easily while wise ones fade into obscurity. I'm not speaking through the lens of a single philosopher, because no one thinker fully captured this phenomenon. Instead, I'll draw from many to understand how psychology, society, and technology intertwine to amplify the trivial. Take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't, and add your own thoughts in the comments. So let's get into it. The herd instinct and social proof. As social creatures, we are wired to look to others for cues about what is normal, acceptable, or valuable. Psychologists call this social proof, the tendency to believe that if many people are doing something, it must be right. Our evolutionary past programmed us this way. For most of human history, survival depended on belonging. Following the group meant safety. Straying too far from the tribe could mean death. That ancient instinct still governs our digital lives today. If an idea, meme, or video is being shared by thousands, our brain subconsciously assumes it must be valid or worth our attention. As psychologist Robert Cialdini explains, we are far more likely to believe a trend is legitimate, appealing, or socially rewarding when we see peers, celebrities, or influencers engaging with it. On the internet, this instinct takes exaggerated forms. A video with 1 million views seems important. A trending hashtag or viral dance challenge feels irresistible. This is where FOMO, the fear of missing out, takes over. We don't just want to watch, we want to participate. When everyone is posting the latest meme collage or taking part in a viral challenge, not joining in can feel like being left out of a cultural inside joke. And being excluded from a shared trend, even a silly one, can feel like a social faux pas. So we imitate, we repost, we dance, we perform, not always because we care, but because we want to belong. The danger is that the herd can elevate nonsense to the level of truth. Pseudo-spiritual fads thrive this way, because when a large enough group believes in something, skepticism starts to feel like rebellion. Social media algorithms amplify this cycle. The more people click, like, and share a post, the more it spreads, regardless of whether it's true or wise. Popularity becomes the new proof of truth. Before long, a meaningless trend or half-baked claim gains momentum simply because the herd stamped its approval on it. Even academia isn't immune. Social media encourages people to curate identities and signal belonging. Posting something viral says, "I'm in tune with the moment." A quick joke, a meme, or an ironic take gets attention. A serious thought rarely does. In this attention economy, the crowd decides what matters, and it usually chooses the familiar over the profound. Voltaire once said, "It is dangerous to be right in matters on which the established authorities are wrong." The same holds true today. Speaking uncomfortable truths or sharing ideas that challenge the herd can isolate us. Most people would rather be liked than be right. That is what we can call the comfort of simplicity, which I am going to discuss now. The comfort of simplicity. No more. Where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. Thomas Gray's 18th century verse captures a truth that feels even more relevant today. Most people would rather feel good than think deeply. Our brains crave simplicity, short, clear, familiar ideas that make sense instantly. Complexity feels like work, and our minds are wired to avoid unnecessary effort. Psychologists call this tendency cognitive ease, the comfort we feel when processing something that's simple, familiar, or easily understood. When we encounter an idea we've seen 100 times before, it feels right, even if it isn't. On the other hand, when we meet a new or complicated concept, our brain switches into analytical mode, the system 2 thinking. That mode is slow, effortful, and tiring, so we instinctively try to dodge it. In short, our brains are lazy. We prefer what's easy to digest over what's hard to think about, and that has huge implications for what goes viral. Dumb ideas by nature tend to be simple. They require no deep reflection, no intellectual effort, no questioning of assumptions. A catchy slogan, a short clip, or a colorful meme slides into our minds with no resistance. Complex truths, however, demand time and focus. Two things our attention-starved culture has little patience for. Familiarity strengthens this bias even further. This means repetition alone can make something feel true, a phenomenon known as the illusory truth effect. Hear a statement enough times, and your brain starts to accept it automatically. A meme that repeats the same punchline across dozens of pages begins to feel more real, while a new, nuanced perspective feels strange and suspicious. In a world driven by repetition, likes, shares, algorithms, this becomes a self-reinforcing loop. The familiar spreads, the novel fades, the easy thrives, the complex withers. That's why misinformation, cliches, and half-truths often dominate the digital landscape. They're simple, repeated, and comforting. Alexander Pope warned of this centuries ago. A little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep, or taste not the Pierian spring. He meant that knowing just a little, without diving deeper, can lead to arrogance and error. Today, the internet is our modern Pierian spring. But instead of drinking deeply from the waters of knowledge, most people just take shallow sips. A quote here, a viral clip there, never enough to truly understand. A little knowledge gives the illusion of wisdom, and that illusion spreads faster than truth ever can. There's another reason dumb ideas spread so easily, one that goes beyond simplicity. And that's what we're going to explore next. The emotional thrill over intellectual truth. Studies on virality consistently show that content charged with strong emotions, joy, fear, anger, awe, or outrage, spreads far faster than calm, logical information. Similarly, large-scale research on millions of tweets revealed that posts filled with negative or intense emotional energy, especially anger and shock, attract the most attention. In plain terms, outrage and thrill travel faster than reason. Why? Because social media runs on dopamine. Every like, share, or comment gives us a small hit of pleasure, a reward in the brain's chemistry. Emotionally charged posts trigger this loop far more powerfully than facts or reasoned arguments ever could. A funny clip, a heartwarming story, or a scandalous rant all generate that immediate rush of engagement. Each notification reinforces the behavior. We post, we feel rewarded, and we do it again. Over time, we become conditioned to chase emotional highs rather than intellectual depth. This isn't just psychology, it's the algorithm at work. Social media platforms are designed to boost content that sparks engagement. Sharing emotional content also gives us a fleeting sense of power. When we share something outrageous, we feel like we're doing something, exposing injustice, expressing solidarity, or warning others. Even when we're horrified by what we see, the act of sharing provides a tiny thrill of moral or social participation. Contrast that with thoughtful intellectual ideas, they rarely make our hearts race. A deep philosophical essay or a careful analysis doesn't ignite the same emotional fire. As Aristotle noted in Rhetoric, persuasion depends not just on logic, but on emotion. Without emotional spark, even the wisest message struggles to move people. A video of a kitten doing something silly can easily outperform a profound lecture on ethics, because one sparks immediate joy, while the other requires attention and effort. Nietzsche understood this all too well. He warned that modern society was breeding what he called the last man, a creature who seeks comfort, pleasure, and amusement over truth or greatness. For the last man, feeling entertained replaces the need to think. The world becomes a stage of spectacles, not ideas. But emotional contagion doesn't just make us shallow, it also divides us. Because emotion doesn't just unite people, it polarizes them. The same forces that make us share exciting nonsense also drive us into tribes that reinforce what we already believe. This brings us to the next chapter: tribalism and the echo chamber. And that's what I'm going to discuss now. Tribal belonging, echo chambers. Humans are social creatures, and throughout history, survival often depended on loyalty to one's tribe. Today, that same instinct plays out online. We gather into digital tribes, political, cultural, religious, or ideological, and within each, certain ideas become sacred symbols of identity. Sharing them signals loyalty, questioning them can feel like betrayal. Algorithms feed us posts from people who think like us, creating echo chambers where our worldview is constantly mirrored back. In these insulated spaces, false or absurd ideas are rarely challenged. Instead, they're repeated, liked, shared, and normalized until they feel like unquestionable truths. This makes new or challenging truths dangerous. If your tribe, be it a political faction, religious community, or online fandom, insists on a simple, comforting narrative, any contradiction threatens its cohesion. So people cling to the familiar myth and reject dissent. Echoing the tribe's slogan brings praise, questioning it invites outrage. Confirmation bias fuels this even more. Emotional lies travel faster than rational truths because they serve the deeper purpose of belonging. Hannah Arendt's concept of the banality of evil described how ordinary people can commit terrible acts simply by obeying collective ideology without reflection. In these cases, people trade reason for the warmth of group acceptance. When a tribal meme or slogan aligns with what a group already believes, it spreads like wildfire. The logic or accuracy hardly matters. What matters is that it says, "We are right. We are us." A viral trend isn't just entertainment, it's social glue. And in this process, complexity and nuance are sacrificed for belonging and identity. This is why truly wise voices so often go unheard. Groups rarely reward humility, nuance, or self-critique. Those qualities threaten the unity of the tribe. As Voltaire's warning reminds us, truth can be dangerous to one's social standing. Absurdities, on the other hand, travel freely because they flatter the group's emotions and reinforce its identity. We amplify what strengthens our tribe, not what strengthens our understanding. We share ideas that say, "We belong," even if they make us collectively blind. And perhaps that's the greatest irony of our age.